Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin and today I wanted to make a video just talking about some of the low cost things I'm going to do over Easter. I'm trying to do like a low spend Easter. I've kind of realised that since quitting my no buy, I think that because I kind of released myself from the really tight rules, I almost kind of went the other way where like I just haven't been keeping an eye on my budget. Like I haven't been doing things like buying clothes. I still haven't bought any clothes and I'm proud of myself for that because I used to be somebody that would buy new clothes every single month, and I would get really tempted by just like one particular clothing brand, but I would also go charity shopping a lot and I haven't really been near a charity shop. Why is it every time I make a video and my kids are happily playing outside they suddenly return? Yeah, they just went out to play with their friends. We were at my mum's house today and then before that we went to Rowan, the National Trust place we went to last week, and took Potato back to the dog park and just had a bit of a walk, and I decided that I would make myself a latte to bring with us whenever I went because I didn't want to spend money in the cafe, and the prices in the cafe have got insane. Like I know the prices everywhere have got crazy, but particularly there, like I have noticed a huge jump. Like a large hot chocolate there now is something like, what was it again? I think it was like £6, which to me, I just think that's crazy for a hot chocolate. Anyway, I decided to do that. I brought juice in my kids' drinks bottles to make it slightly more appealing than water. And I found some chocolate chip cookies in the cupboard that we hadn't opened yet, so I brought those. And then Potato, we took on a like dog Easter egg hunt yesterday, which was really funny. He got some dog popcorn as a prize, so he was snacking on that and he really enjoyed it. That was his first time ever having it. Here we go with the barking. Everybody's at the door. Why? It's like they have some sort of sixth sense for whenever I start making a video and they're like, let's interact with as much as we possibly can, but they weren't looking for me until I hit record. Anyway, it's going to be 2 weeks of this because they're off school now. So yeah, if you hear bubbling in the background, I'm making some, it's like vegan bolognese because I got some fake mince and I actually really like it and my daughter does too. We eat it sometimes instead of the meat one and yeah, I really love it. I'm looking forward to dinner even if no one else will be because I love bolognese, and yeah, my kids will probably complain, but oh well. So my plans for over the Easter break are to limit our spending as much as I possibly can. I don't want to fall into the trap of going to the shop for little things and then buying unplanned things, especially when my kids are with me, because they always tempt me and try to encourage me to spend money on things that I hadn't planned to buy, and I just feel like I'm quite weak in that way. Like I will give in, so I want to remove myself from that trigger and just not put myself in the situation to begin with. My older daughter does need new trainers, so I will have to get those, but that's fine because it's like a need. Her other ones have literally fallen apart and she's living in Crocs at the minute and she'll need them for when she goes back to school. I am thinking about having an egg hunt in our garden for my kids and some of their friends in the street. I'm just going to hide like Easter eggs around the garden. We've got quite a big front and back garden, so, and it's quite wild, so there's lots of places to hide things. I thought that would be fun, but I'm going to try and limit the numbers a bit because I don't want it to just turn into like squabbling over eggs. And I remembered I have some cookies with like icing and sprinkles set aside from a while ago. I got them for Easter for my kids to decorate so they can do that in a quiet moment when they're bored. Another thing that I think will be good to fill the holidays with is chores, because I feel like my kids are getting older. They don't do very many chores. They do tidy their own rooms when they're forced to, but they don't really like know how to do lots of things around the house well, so I want to teach them those things now. And yeah, like I think that is something that, like, doing things around the house, it's rewarding. You can see visible results when you're done, and then it also doesn't cost anything, and it's something you can do together, and it's teaching them life skills they need, so it's definitely worthwhile. I want to spend time in nature. I know I'm going to have to work around the weather a bit because there's supposed to be a lot of rain, but I've never been put off going outside because of the weather anyway, so we always just kind of get raincoats on and go out, whether it's wet or dry. I just like to be outside, and I find that like going for walks and being in places with loads of trees and flowers and peaceful places, like it just does something to my mind. And I feel like my kids and my dog are all very energetic, so it's perfect for us to go somewhere like that where they can run off all their energy, and then everybody's kind of more like easily satisfied with calmer activities later in the day than they would be otherwise. Whenever I was little, my mum and my granny used to take me and my sister to see like blossom trees at this time of the year, and I kind of in my mind had, you know, whenever your mind kind of like takes snippets of like something that happened in real life and it makes it into a memory, but it's not accurate. Like I had told myself that it was around the corner from her flat, but apparently we actually drove to this like village or something to look at all the blossom trees, and I just remember it being really magical because there were so many of them, and I loved picking up the petals, and that's something my kids love to do now too. So I thought about maybe for the first time like taking them there on a little day trip, and we can bring Potato too, and just like going for a walk and seeing the blossom trees, and that can be an activity on its own, and it would be a nice kind of nostalgic thing too because I haven't been there since I was a kid. I'd like to go to the beach more, and even if it's not perfect weather, like just go for like a walk and let the girls have a run around the playground if there's one there, and just look for shells and I just find being near the sea really healing, and we haven't been very much recently, so I'd like to do that. I was talking to my mum earlier when I was at her house about the whole ice cream situation, because I was saying that we went for ice cream last week to a little ice cream shop that we love, and I always would have taken the girls there like when we lived in our last house because it was just around the corner from it and it's near their school, and they have really amazing ice cream. And the reason I love it so much as well is because they also have dairy-free ice cream that's actually nice, which is really hard to find. But it was always like one scoop cone would be like £2.20. They've now put it up to £2.95. It's £1 for a topping, like one topping on it. And what was the other thing I noticed? Yeah, and even things like, well, coffee prices have gone up everywhere. I've noticed that a lot. And then because I need to get like soy milk or an alternative milk, that adds on usually like another nearly 50p, and it just feels like a waste of money. So yeah, I want to try to be more organised when we're going out and always bring coffee with me. I've been really good about that while the girls have been in school. I feel like when they're off I get lazier about it because I'm like, okay, I already have to think about all these things that we need to go to wherever, and then I'm like, maybe we'll figure out the snack situation later, but then that turns into, oh, we're hungry and thirsty now, so let's buy something. So I want to try to minimize that and do it as little as possible. And like today we went to Rowallan and I brought my own latte and stuff, and it only took 5 minutes to make it before we left. So with a little tiny bit of preparation, it saves you a huge amount of money. On Friday, I basically spent last night scouring the internet for free activities to do. I'm kind of disappointed that this year they don't have the egg hunt on in town because it's always really good, but they do have other things on. There's not very many that are free though. I don't know if they're just lacking funding this year, but there's a gallery in town that does free art classes for families, and they have an Easter themed one on Friday that I'm going to take the girls to. And yeah, I can't remember what they're making now. I know it's Easter related. It might be something like bunny ears or something like that. But it's free and we'll only have to pay for parking, and it's just something to like keep the girls occupied for a while and that we can do together. And I just spent ages looking through like every website I could think of and every resource to find as many activities that were unpaid ones. And there's like a dog show on next weekend in Rowallan, which we have membership to because it's a National Trust place, so we might bring Potato there. I had already pre-booked a couple of workshops and things for the girls over the holidays, so they're already paid and we can just go and it doesn't have to cost us more than that. Also there is like a lint bunny hunt on at a big like nature place at a huge park, basically about half an hour from our house, and usually the tickets for all 4 of us to go would probably be about £30, but I found out that the tickets are only £1 each for us because like for certain incomes and stuff they do these like really good value tickets, and then they're having an Easter bunny hunt, so we can do that while we're there. Sadly we can't bring Potato because it's not dog friendly, that's the only downside, but it's like something else to do that's not expensive. I'm going to try to be prepared and bring a picnic with us so we don't have to spend money on food while we're there. I just need to be organised and plan ahead, and I think that's the thing, like sometimes in the holidays when the kids are there and you can end up in a rush, but if you even just take 10 minutes before you go to shove some snacks and drinks in your bag and make yourself a coffee, it's just crazy the difference it makes. And now I've totally forgotten where I was before I got cut off. My phone memory is full repeatedly and then I have to randomly stop and delete things, which is annoying, so I need to sort that out. We didn't make it to the library yesterday because we were doing the dog Easter egg hunt, so I might take the girls tomorrow afternoon and get some new books. Last week they found a couple of new things they hadn't read before, and one of them was like a comic book, so that is exactly the type of thing they love, and they will kind of sit and read and get lost in it themselves with something like that with pictures. I never see them sitting down to read a novel on their own, but if there's pictures they will sit. So yeah, the 2 books that I bought in Llewellyn last week in the charity shop, no, in the second-hand bookshop, I promised myself I would read them and not just put them in the bookcase, and I did do that. I actually finished both of them. I passed one on to a friend. The second one I'm not sure yet if I'm going to pass it on or keep it, but because I found it quite inspiring and there were parts in it I wanted to hold on to. It was that book Room, about the little boy that grows up in one room, and basically, like, I don't want to spoil it, but I found the parts where it's talking about the simple activities that him and his mom did together and how they created like all of this fun out of nothing. Like, that was really inspiring to me, and I wanted to keep it nearby kind of to refer back to that. Like, I might not necessarily reread the story, but I'd like to take those parts from it as inspiration for my own life. And like, I was talking to my mom today about how I feel like something's been lost in this generation with my kids are very hard to satisfy in that they jump from one activity to the next all the time, and they're always looking for the next thing. And even while we're mid-activity, they'll be like, what are we doing tomorrow? And I think that I've noticed that a lot with kids now, and in some ways I think they're not bored often enough and they haven't had to fall back on their own resources to entertain themselves, and that's kind of sad. So I want to encourage that in them, and that book just reminded me that kids don't need all of these like fancy activities and things to keep them occupied all the time. Like, they can be happy with the simplest things if that's what they're used to. So yeah, it just kind of reminded me of that. And yeah, feel free to let me know what you're doing over Easter. Is anyone else planning on doing a no buy or low spend, and what are your plans? And thank you for sharing anything in response to my last video too. I will get back to your comments as soon as possible. It's been a busy couple of days, but I really appreciate all of them and I love the ideas. And yeah, I think I'm going to watch Hop with the kids as well, the Easter movie that a subscriber recommended. So yeah, I will make another video soon. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more content, and I will see you soon. Bye.